Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Wyatt and today I'll be teaching you how to script a rank join message on Roblox. Okay, so before I show you how to make this script, I just want to show you how it works. So all we have to do is go into the game, and as you'll see, if a player joins and they're above a certain rank in a group, it'll send everybody a notification. Okay, so now that you know what the script does, I actually want to show you how to make it. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to create a new script under server script service. And I'm just going to name the script player join notification, but you can name it whatever you'd like. And inside of the script, what we want to do is we want to get whenever a player joins the game, and we want to say if their rank in a group is above a certain rank, then we want to send a notification to all of our players telling them that this player joined the game. And the first thing I want to do inside of the script is I want to specify our group ID, so whatever group we want to pull these ranks from. So we'll say local group ID equals, and then I'm just going to paste in my group ID, but you'd want to put yours right here. And then I want to create another variable, and this is going to be the minimum rank ID for that join message. So whatever the rank is that we want players to have to be above for a join message to come up when they join the game, that's what we want to set this variable equal to. So we'll say local minimum rank ID for join message equals, and then I'm just going to put in my rank ID, which is 255, but if you wanted yours to be like 2 or 50 or whatever rank you wanted players to have to be to get the join message, you just want to put that right here. And after this, what I want to do is I actually want to get whenever a player joins the game, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to hook into the player added event of game.players. So we'll say game.players.playerAdded, and we'll connect it up to a function. And inside of this function, what I want to do is I want to get the player that joined the game. So whenever they join, I want to get that player. And the way we do that is we just pass in the player argument right here, and it'll set up a variable for us so that we have a reference to that player that joined. After this, what we want to do, we don't want to send in notifications to the player just yet. What we want to do is we want to get the rank in the group, and we want to see if their rank is above that minimum rank, then we want to send a notification. The way we're going to do this is we're going to say if player, and then we're going to call the getRankInGroup method of player. And then we just want to say what group do we want to get their rank in? Well, we want to get their rank in the group ID group, so we'll pass in our group ID variable. So if the rank in that group is greater than or equal to, and then we want to pass in our minimum rank ID for join message variable. So if the rank in that group is at or it's above that rank, then what we want to do is in here we actually want to send the notification to all the players. But now, unfortunately, Roblox doesn't give us a way to send notifications to our players from the server side. So what we're going to have to do is create a new remote event, and we're going to have to basically send data to the client and then actually send the notification from a local script. And I know that might sound a little bit confusing, but just follow along and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So the first thing we want to do, I want to create a new remote event under replicated storage. And I'm just going to name this remote event player join event, but you can name it whatever you'd like. And now in a local script, what we want to do is we want to get whenever this remote event is fired. So what we're going to do on our server side, we're going to fire this event, we're going to send data to the client, and then we want to receive that data inside of a local script. So let's create that local script, and I'm going to make it under starter GUI. And you can name this local script whatever you want, but I'm just going to name it player join notification. Once again, and in here what we want to do is we want to get whenever that remote event is fired to our client, and then we want to send a notification with that data. But before we can do that, what we want to do is we actually want to define a function to create a notification. And I would normally go over this, but I'm not going to just because the way Roblox does it is a little bit confusing. So just copy this code from the description from line 1 to line 9. And all this is going to do is allow us to call this function right here to send notifications to our players. So after this, what I want to do is I want to do exactly what I was just saying. I want to get whenever this player join event is fired, whenever we send the data from the server to the client. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to say game.replicatedStorage.playerJoin event. We're going to get a reference to that event, and then we're going to hook into the onClient event of this remote event. So say game.replicatedStorage.playerJoin event.onClient event. So whenever it's fired, we want to connect it up to a function. And then inside of this function, I have two parameters that I want to get. I want to get the player's name, so whatever player joined the game, I want to get their name. And I also want to get their user ID so that we can display the data properly on that little notification on the side. So we'll just say player name as our first variable, and the second one I want to get is the player user ID, just like that. After this, what I want to do is I actually want to send a notification. Unfortunately, we do have this function defined, so it's super easy to send a notification. All we have to do is call the function, and then we can pass in a title, text, and then an optional icon if we want to. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to call that function the send notification function. So send notification, and then we want to say our title. So in this case, my title is join message, but you can name it whatever you want. Your title could be whatever you'd like. And then the text that I want, that little body portion of this notification, I want it to be set to whatever the player's name is has joined the game. So if it was my user, it'd be orangedude4221 has joined the game, just like that. And the way we're going to do this is we have to concatenate this player name string with the rest of our message. So we'll say player name, and then onto that we're going to add on has joined the game. So we want to say that player has joined the game. And that just makes it super easy for our players to know exactly who that player was. And then after this, I have one more argument that I want to pass in, and that is the icon. And this part is a little bit more complex, but what we want to do is we want to get the player's headshot thumbnail from the Roblox page. And the way we do this is we call the getUserThumbnail async method of game.players. So all we're going to do is we'll say game.players colon getUserThumbnail async. And then we have 3 arguments that we want to pass in here. We want to pass in the player's user ID that we want to get the thumbnail for. We want to pass in the type of thumbnail. So in this case, we want to get the headshot, or maybe you'd want to get the full body shot. Then we also want to pass in the size. So in this case, I want it to be 420 pixels by 420 pixels, but you have a few other options that you could pass in there. So all we're going to do, we want to pass in our player user ID first. After this, I want to pass in the type of shot, the type of camera angle, and I want to do the headshot. So we'll say enum.thumbnailtype.headshot. And then finally, I want to pass in the size. So I'll say enum.thumbnailsize. And I want to do 420, but you could choose any of the sizes you'd like. That's actually all we have to do in the local script. Whenever this event is fired, it'll send a notification. Now what we have to do is actually go back to the server script, and we have to fire that event to the player. The way we're going to do this is we're going to get a reference to our event. So we'll say game.replicatedStorage.playerJoinEvent. So we have a reference right there. And all we want to do is we want to fire all the clients. We want to fire all the players in the game. So the way we do that is we say fire all clients. And then in here we pass in 2 arguments as we specified earlier. See, because we have the player name and the player user ID. So all we'll say is player.name. So whatever that player was, their name, and then they're also their user ID, just like this. And that's actually all we have to do for this script. We can go into the game real quick to test it out. And as you'll see, because I'm above that certain rank in the group, it'll send us a notification. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you learned something new today about scripting on Roblox. As always, I have the pasted in link with the code and the Roblox model link with all the assets shown in this video in the description, and I'll see you guys later.